Hi, you found the podcast Aging Gracefully with Julie Roca. Thank you for stopping by today. You know, a lot of times in life where things are going along smoothly, our health is good, and then it can be a major event one day that takes us into the hospital. And then we may find ourselves needing to have some time in which we need to go and rehabilitate. And we have some wonderful rehabilitation facilities here in Gainesville. And I know that there are some all throughout the United States. And so today I really wanted to have a special guest come. My friend Belinda Shuler is here. She works in one of our skilled nursing facilities. And this month is Social Workers Month, so I wanted to have Belinda come in and chat a little bit about that. So Belinda, tell me what it was that that kind of drove you to be a social worker.
I had the heart for people, number one. I worked in human resources for 16 years before I began my career as a social worker. I was dealing with people, but I wasn't dealing with them in a way that I could really, really help them.
Okay.
I wanted to go back to school.
Mm-hmm.
And what I did was I started volunteering my time. I would go to the homeless shelters. I would just volunteer in the neighborhood, in the churches, just to help those that did not have a meal,
Right.
did not have clothing, and just giving them resources. This is where you go to apply for food stamps, and this is where you go to get free health care. And I was that advocate.
Okay.
And so I said, this is what I really want to do.
Right.
And I changed courses. I had already had my undergrad in public administration, and I went back for my master's in social work.
And you were just telling me about that because a lot of times these days we say, oh, I can't add school to my plate. I've got kids, I've got work, I've got all this.
Yes.
Tell me how you did that, because you were just telling me, and I thought that was very impactful.
Yes. I had a full-time job. I was a human resources professional working every day, traveling from Miami to Pompano Beach, had a family. Children were in school.
Wow.
I had them set up with the bus. My husband worked for the city of Miami Beach, and I commuted. At my study time, that's what I would study on my way, because it took an hour for me to get there. And I would use that time to study. When I got home, I would use that time to study on the train going back. And as soon as I got out of work, I had class.
Oh my goodness.
It took me an hour from when I got off from work to my class started. And I just wanted to do it. And so I committed my time. I met with my bosses and I said, I need this time to go to school, to better myself. And that's what I did. I went to school and got my master's, and I started training for it. Little did I know I already had the skill set.
Right. Yeah.
I just needed them to be honed a little bit, to know what the laws were, to know, what the resources were, and just to know people.
Yeah. Yeah. And I have seen you mama bear in your community, in your facility, and really you are that advocate. So that was really incredible, your journey, because so many of us make excuse after excuse after excuse. And when we're called to help people and to advocate for people, sometimes that means you have to get a degree and you have to figure out how to go about doing that.
Yes.
And I do feel like you felt a calling to help people. You're also a pastor, right?
I am an associate pastor of First Missionary Baptist Church of Gainesville.
Okay.
Where our pastor is Pastor Tyrone A. Blue.
Okay.
Magnificent teacher. I had their health ministries there, still helping the community. We have a clothes closet.
Yeah.
We have education for the young people. We have a food giveaway. There's so many facets and things that we do for the community. I want to make sure that people know where the free health care comes from. Because Alachua County has this, and I met them. It's a fire rescue team
Oh my
that
goodness.
they go around.
Yes.
And it's like a mobile hospital. And they see people that are
Yes.
hurting and helping them.
Yes,
And they have
in
so
their
many
home.
resources. And so tapping in those type of resources, Grace Marketplace, you have St. Francis House.
Yeah.
We still give away on the weekends. We fix meals for them. We take van loads of food.
Yeah, yeah. Gainesville feels like it has so many homeless people in it, but not everyone is homeless, but people here seem to be, maybe they have a home, but they can't pay for their medication and they can't pay for their food.
Right.
So it's so important to have social workers and people that advocate for these people
Yes.
to help them to find those resources.
Yes.
And I believe our community is so good about really stepping in and trying to
Right.
help care for our people.
Right.
And I love that you are a big part of that as well. So I wanted to talk to you some about the experience that people are going to have in rehab and in long-term care, because sometimes people will go to a rehab facility and they do great, and within a couple weeks or maybe even 100 days, they say, wow, I broke my hip, but now I have rehabilitated and I'm ready to go home and live on my own.
Yes.
And sometimes that doesn't happen. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that process, because I think there are a lot of families that need to better understand.
Right. Right.
So tell me what happens when you do have someone come in and the family is saying, there's no way that mom or dad is going to be able to come back home and live on their own. What does that mean for you when you hear that?
When I hear that, I first wonder why. The why question comes up. Okay. Is she not able to take care of herself? Does she have assistance? Does she have support? Then we look at the fact that maybe it's because the family has a life of their own. They do need a place for mom or dad to go.
Yep.
And sometimes in the long run, if they see that there's a diagnosis that they may not be able to control.
Yes. Yeah.
There's meds, there's doctor's appointments, there's all of these things. And with the skilled nursing has therapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy. Our nursing, we have a wound care nurse.
Yeah.
We have a psych team out of this world.
Yeah.
We have doctors and ARNPs that come to see them.
Yep.
The first time we get a resident, within 72 hours, we meet with them and their families. Introduce ourselves, let us know what department we work in, let them know that anytime you see us, you need us, we're there for you.
Yep.
The person also is in the room, the resident, to speak on their experience. What was your experience when you walked in the door?
Yeah.
When you got to, get, and if they have a word to say, we hope that it's encouraging.
Yes. Yeah.
We want to get that honest opinion so we can be better the next time. We value what they tell us. A lot of them, this is their first time in a nursing home. They're scared.
Yeah.
They don't know what to do. They don't know what to expect. A lot of them, and it depends on if they come in straight Medicare.
Yes.
It matters. They would have 100 days to recoup. If they come in Med Advantage,
yes.
they only have a short period of time. They only have 21 days.
Right.
And it could be shorter than that. Sometimes it's 14.
Oh my.
If they're doing well, if they're walking, if they're moving around well. But listen, some of those people don't have anywhere to go.
Yes. Yep. And what I tell people when they call me and they're panicked about only having 14 or 21 days is I recommend that they go see you immediately and say, I don't have a safe place for mom to go.
Right.
And just continue to say that.
And you have to.
Because then you know what you need to do to get your team activated
Exactly.
and getting ready to help to make a longer term decision.
That is correct. And we want to prepare for that.
Yep.
We want to prepare them. This is what's going to happen if your mom stays beyond these days.
Yes.
There's paperwork to be filled out. Do you want your mom to stay long-term care? They will get the long-term care. They'll be eligible for a Medicaid waiver. It takes about 3 to 4 months.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If sometimes they're not patient, sometimes they are. And the good part is they get dental.
Oh.
They get their hearing checked.
Yeah.
They get their feet. The podiatrist comes.
Yep.
They get their vision. And, they get all of these things.
That they may not have
resources.
been getting
Exactly.
all
Exactly.
along. Yeah.
Yes. So we make sure, and then they get psych, because we don't want to forget that as well.
Yeah.
A lot of our elderly, population that comes in have very many psych issues.
Yes.
That they've been masking themselves. And then when they come to us, we get them a managed plan to put them on the right medication. And they are so much better. And their family's like,
Yes.
What did you guys do? We just put them on the right medication.
Well, and I notice even in your facility, but a lot of facilities are good about this. You guys pull people together, and there's no more isolation,
Right.
Because now they're mingling
That's
with
right.
all the people in the population.
Yes.
You have a wonderful activities director that is constantly coming up with things for your people to do,
Yes.
and they bring music in, and they bring ways to
Yes.
interact with others, and that's such an important part of aging well.
It
is not being isolated like that.
You're correct.
And another benefit is they're getting 3 meals a day. They have access to at least 3 meals a day, and maybe snacks, because
And snacks throughout.
vendors and
Yes.
like me are coming in and passing
Exactly.
stuff out. So it can really improve the quality of life.
It really can. It really can. We keep them busy. We instituted an arts activity where they do art. We had someone to come in just this week to display a lot of items if they want to purchase it, and we donate it to them. They just come and pick out what they want.
Oh,
It could be perfume. It was, some stuffed animals. It was some purses. It was some lipstick. It was some cologne. It was some socks,
Yeah.
just to let
Yeah.
them know you're special to us.
yes.
And we want to continue to do that. Just have things available for our residents. We take them out shopping.
Yeah.
We take them on a Walmart or to the mall trip. And we want them to feel like they're home away from home.
Yes. Yeah.
And when they do get home, they can value to say, wow, I would love to come back. And a lot of our residents have come back to eat dinner and lunch with our residents. It's so cool.
Because they make friends.
They make friends.
Yeah.
They make friends. And just this past week, one of our residents who discharged a month ago, she came back and brought lunch for the ladies.
Oh, that's
It was so
sweet.
sweet.
That
And
is
so
sweet.
it's those little moments and impact that we make in the lives of our residents. They're
Yeah.
not just people. They're not
Right.
just a number. They're not just someone who's passing through. Anyone who's there for a night or more than a day, they're part of our family.
Yeah.
And we want to make sure that they are welcomed. All of the activities are for them. And listen, the ones that don't like to come out of the rooms, we do have those.
Yeah.
But we do have a special thing for those. We take them their own music. We take them books that they can listen to. We take them puzzles. We take them little arts that they can
Yeah.
do on their own.
And I feel like you personally do that. You and Miss Annette.
Yes.
I know you take them under your wing and you
Yes.
make sure they get little treats.
Yes, yes. And I go shopping for a lot of them. I love
Yes.
to make them look beautiful and to let them know that they do matter.
Yeah, yeah,
they do
for
matter.
sure. So that brings me another thought, and we never even discussed this, but if someone wants to volunteer, how hard is it for them to be able to volunteer? I know these days we are a lot more cautious
Yes.
about, not just letting anybody off the street come in and, play their
Yes.
guitar or whatever.
Yes.
So it may involve some steps. And do you know those steps?
Yes.
Off the top of your head?
So if you would like to volunteer, you can contact myself or Alan, who's the director of activities.
Okay.
We will do a formal interview.
Okay.
It's a level 2, so you would probably have to do a level 2 background because we're dealing with elderly population.
Okay.
And once that's done, you're able to come on
Okay.
and volunteer. We have a lot of new people that have volunteered to come on, and we're just so excited. They bring so many things with them. They bring their children. They bring their community, their church.
Yes. I remember very specifically, your community is the one that our church always ministered to. So
Yes.
I remember making these little soap sachets for them several years in a row. I don't know if they even appreciated it, but I think they just appreciated us showing up,
They do.
singing to them,
Yes.
saying hello, letting them know they weren't forgotten.
Yes.
And I always thought that was impactful.
Yes.
In fact, that's one of the reasons why I think I am doing what I do today.
Right.
So some very practical questions that you said a lot of people ask you are things like, okay, I'm here now. Maybe I'm here just for 100 days. Maybe I'm here long term. And my family is not here. How do I get clothes?
I keep a clothes closet. I have people to constantly donate men and women clothes, shoes, undergarments. We have personal items, shampoo, deodorant, socks. So I keep all of those items because when people come to the hospital, they don't have anything with them.
Right. Yeah,
know.
pretty much. And if they're going to the hospital in an emergency situation,
Yes.
all those things are about to be cut off and gone.
Exactly.
So,
Yes.
yeah. So they got nothing.
That's true. They only come to us with a hospital gown.
Yeah.
So we want to be prepared to dignity. We want to make sure that their dignity is respected, and that if someone comes to see them, they want to be fully dressed. They want to look presentable. We give them a comb, a brush, or whatever, offer grooming. And, our activities director does haircuts as well. All of the haircuts you see all in the facility, he does all of those.
They're lucky to have Alan.
Yes. and so he's great with the clothes giveaway as well, because they go through him as well to give them to us, and we put their names on the clothes.
Yeah.
And it's theirs.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that these are things that are happening kind of throughout facilities throughout the United States. So if we have a listener that is, living in Wyoming, they can probably go and find the social worker, the activities director, and ask a lot of these same questions and volunteer in the same ways. Do you guys happen to have an Amazon wish list that I can post on this?
We don't at the moment. Since a lot of them don't have like credit cards and stuff like that, and I don't use my personal to do it, I just go out myself and purchase whatever. Now the facility does.
That's what I'm
okay.
What
Yes, the facility does.
Okay. So I may post that for your facility.
Awesome.
In the notes, so that if anybody wants to donate, they can do that. Because obviously everybody deserves a fresh pair of undies. We don't want to use used undies.
Yes.
I'll use a used blouse all day, but I don't want to use used undies and used socks. So,
that's right.
Yeah. So we want to make sure that we're getting them good stuff.
Yes.
And then another question is, if I do need long-term care, can you, I know the process is fairly long, but can you briefly outline what that process is going to look like?
Yes. So let's say your 100 days have expired. Now, what are you going to do? Are you going home? Are you going to stay in the facility? You're still not well, really, to go home.
Right.
You want to stay, get that treatment. You want to get your doctors and all of that. You start doing your Medicaid application. You start doing the Medicaid application. You would get with the business office manager, myself. Let us know that you want to stay long term. We'll begin to get those bank statements for you.
Yeah.
we already have most of your information anyway.
Right.
So we will put all of that information into that Medicaid application, send it through to DCF. Once they see and they approve everything, they have everything that they need, she would possibly wait at least 3 to 4 months. The problem is they don't like to turn loose their monies.
Right. Yes.
Their Social Security. So that comes into play.
Oh.
That's the key to a lot of people either getting it or not getting it. So if they don't mind saying, you know what, report this to Social Security. I know I'm in the building anyway. They gotta be paid anyway.
Right.
So, but really, if you think about it, they're not, because DCF is the one that pays the room and board while they're there.
Okay.
Once the 100 days run out.
Right.
DCF begins to pay the room and board.
Oh, okay.
Yes. And then they will still have Medicare on the back end, but most of all, DCF with the Medicaid. The doctors are being paid through the Medicare.
Okay.
The Medicare part of it. Now, if they're strictly Medicaid only, they have to have those doctors in the network that are accepting just the Medicaid.
Right. And your facility does.
And our facility does.
Yeah.
Yes, our doctors. Dr. Mann, he is fabulous.
Yeah.
He takes a lot of our Medicaids, the ones that the doctors don't want. He takes those residents, those patients, and he does magnificent work.
I love his whole group.
Yes.
They're coming on my podcast. Multiples of them are.
Love them. Love them. Anytime we reach out to their team, let them come to me. Even when they go home, we can still give them to Dr. Mann and his team. And that's what I love about it. Now, talking about long-term care. Now, let's talk about the one that with the 21 days.
Yes, let's talk about that.
Let's talk about that.
That's not much time.
Yes, not much time. Yeah. What are you going to do? Are you staying or are you going? I'm going to stay. Now you need to begin to give that information quickly.
Yes.
Or you're going to be private pay.
And most people cannot afford to pay out $280, $300, $320 a day.
Yes, a day. They cannot do it. So if they agree, they need to sign the waiver. Let Social Security know I'm here in the building. I'm not getting my check anymore. They'll get one more after that. But after that one, it's cut off.
And it goes to the facility to pay for their room and board.
Right. And so they will get a portion. They will get $160 a month.
Okay.
Some get $130, some get $160, depending on their income.
Okay.
But they will get monies out of their checks.
Now, and you may not be able to answer this question, but this is a question that I get from families an awful lot is, okay, I know this is like $350 a day, and all they're doing is taking my family member's Social Security check, and the state of Florida is providing them with this Medicaid waiver. On their passing, am I now going to be held responsible for all those months that mom was in the facility?
The answer is no. When one is in the facility long term, DCF has knowledge. They know that they're there. Then you have on the Medicaid side, the Medicare side, they know that they're there. It begins to, once that person is deceased and gone, it stops right there.
Right. Okay.
Anytime, let's say for instance, and we've had this to happen, that a resident passed away, but there wasn't approved yet.
Right. Okay.
They will go back and pay it.
Okay.
They will go back and pay it. Even though if the person... Medicaid will.
Okay.
If they, say for instance, even if in any case, they're going to go back and pay it from the beginning when that application went in. That's why we tell them, do it soon after.
Right.
Don't wait.
Yes.
Because those days, say if you wait 5 days, those are 5
private pay days.
Yes.
Yes.
So you don't want to get caught up in that.
Yes.
Yes.
And a lot of times, family members will know. For example, if you've got the daughter out of state, and mom has fallen, and maybe it becomes very apparent that cognitively she wasn't able to take her meds properly. She wasn't able to prepare her food properly. So we know mom's not going to be okay to go home, right? On day number 1 that they go to rehab, I recommend that they begin the process. Talk to you immediately. Talk to the social worker. Talk to the business office immediately on day number 1 and say, it is not safe for my mom to return home. We are looking for a long-term care situation. And that helps, I feel, because we're starting that process on day 1, not day 21.
That's so right. I really encourage that because some families do wait until the last minute. Those that do prepare and are upfront, we can work tremendous things out for them.
Yes.
And so to let them see that's not as bad as you think.
Right.
And so just to put them at ease, to let them know that, okay, it's going to be okay. We're going to work it out.
Yeah.
And we can work it out for them to stay there. And, we tell them, and this is what we tell our residents, you're here for a little while. You can go home in a couple of years. You can go home. It's not to say you can stay here all of your life.
No, we always want our people to hang on to hope.
Yes,
right?
hang on to that hope.
Hang on to hope.
That's right.
And home may be on the other side of eternity. Right? So,
exactly.
But we never want to shut that hope off and say, oh, you are here and you will never leave.
Yes.
And no, that is not the goal.
Right.
But I asked you about whether the families will be responsible, because a lot of family members hesitate in wanting to sign paperwork because they're the healthcare surrogate, or they're the power of attorney, or whatever they've set up. And now it comes time for them to start signing paperwork and signing approvals. And a lot of family members panic because they say, I don't have the money to be able to handle this financially, so I'm going to get stuck with it. And I just want family members to know, good chances are you're not going to get stuck with it. If you're worried about it, they can speak with you.
Right.
They can speak with a business office advisor. They can, if they have an elder law attorney, they can speak with their elder law attorney.
Right.
But don't wait on signing the paperwork that gets your loved one help.
Exactly. And the key is, first of all, letting us know up front whether you are the healthcare surrogate or the proxy or the dual power of attorney. Now, difference, dual power of attorney over finance or health or both. It depends. Now some are only financial, and it depends on if my name is on your account. If my name is on my mom's account, I could be liable. Or that penalty could come out of that account. Right?
Right.
Because my name's connected to that. And my mom and that bill. That's if your name is not on there, they can't get you for anything. But if your name is on a lot of her financials, things like that, yes, you may be. It's a possibility. But if your name is not on any of the financials, it's your mom or your father's debt.
And this is where I like to say we all need to prepare. It is worth talking to an elder law attorney as you're starting to age, so you've got things lined up the way that you need them to be lined up, so that you're not leaving your loved one with a huge bill and them having to assume a lot of responsibility. So there are ways to prepare for that and talk to an elder law attorney. It is worth every penny every time I've seen it. So, and then another thing that you get asked a lot is, hey, if I'm in a facility, how am I going to speak with my daughter or my son or my niece or nephew and they're out of state? How does that work?
So we have this little program that we use. If someone cannot get a hold, if they don't have a phone, we FaceTime the family members with our own phone. We'll get their number. We'll contact them. We'll set up a date and a time. We had this one gentleman to come in, could not speak. Still can't speak today. But I called his wife, who's been separated for 20 years. He was in California. She's somewhere in Michigan. And she called and she says, I haven't seen him.
Yeah.
But I know he's there. Can I see him?
Oh.
Could you imagine?
Wow. For years.
We let her see him.
Yep.
So that she can see, wow, God, you guys are, I never would have imagined that he would be someplace where he's being taken care of.
He's being groomed.
And been
eating
groomed.
well, and yes. Yeah.
When he first came to us, he was throwing himself on the floor. Throwing himself on the floor. We got our team together. We care planned because the family wasn't immediate.
Right.
We had to, like, he was our person.
Yeah.
Like, we had to really care for him.
Yes.
You know, he couldn't care for himself. And I would say within 30 days, he had a big change and turnaround. He doesn't throw himself on the floor anymore. He do thumbs up or thumbs down.
So he's communicating.
He's communicating. He's saying
incredible.
yes and no. And that is such, it makes my heart glad.
Yes. Yeah. Because that's quality of life,
That's
right?
quality of life.
Yeah. Right.
He had on his leg, tattooed that I can't even say, on his leg, that he was advertising.
Yeah.
No more. So he's being taken care of now.
Oh,
Yeah.
wonderful.
And he's
I love
thriving.
hearing that.
Yeah, he's
That makes-
thriving.
That makes my heart happy.
Yes.
Well, this time has just really flown by. Is there
really
anything that you just really wanted to share today that we did not discuss?
I just want to take the time to thank each and every one of you for tuning in, and Julie, for you inviting me to the show. I really thank you. We shared some information about, our nursing skill, nursing homes, and what families expect. They don't know what to do. And we're there to help and to guide and lead you in the right direction.
And I hope by having you on that it's less scary
Yes.
for people that do need to have a time of rehab,
Yes.
or they need a safer place to live.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for coming
You're
on,
welcome.
Belinda.
Thank you.
And thank you for tuning in. If you haven't liked this podcast already, please do so. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. I think we passed 100 subscribers. I'm very excited about that. And please, if you remember to share it with someone you know that it may make a difference for them. Thanks so much.